I did find an earlier study in November of 2000, a National Institute of Justice study that took a look at 6 different Midwestern areas, Iowa, Illinois, and Missouri. Found that 3 of the towns where the casinos came in, crime went up. 3 of them basically went down, and the finding was there was no single effect of casinos on crime, and that was an NIJ study. What's your response to that?
My response to that is that those are clinical examples. You have to look at the people who are doing it and sponsoring it. It sounds like an authoritative study, but the definitive study is republished in its entirety in here. It's out of Harvard, MIT. It's by Dr. Grinnells, Dr. Mustard. Originally they had other participants in the study, but after 7 or 8 years, and it's been through all the academic reviews over and over and over again. So when the definitive study says crime rate goes up 10% approximately once they come in per year afterwards, and then continues up, that's the definitive study. You're going to see a lot of others, you know, and they did every jurisdiction in the country. This did just 6.
When the FOP endorsed this proposal this time around, we pressed them on, well, isn't there some increase in crime? And they chose their words very carefully. They said, no more increase in crime than you would expect where there is a large gathering of people, like an OSU football game with 100,000 people. What's your take on the way they...
That's the standard response that's given by the lobbyists in Washington, D.C. every time they get that question. And so I'm disappointed that criminal justice persons, and I believe in their goodwill, but I think they really need to look at the definitive reports, and if they look at the definitive report, and it's in here in its entirety, or you just go to the Review of Economic and Statistics by the Harvard publication and look at it right there, and you will see that the crime rate does in fact go up, and they did every jurisdiction. So we're not talking just clinical examples. We're not just talking this local community over here and this one over here and that one over there. They did every one before and after in the United States. And it went through almost 10 years of academic review, of academics saying, you got to look at this again, or what about this regression analysis? This is definitive.
But are you saying that, yes, it's like when you get 100,000 people together for an OSU football game, but that's bad enough of a problem, and that, yes, they're correct, but that's a bad problem? Or are you saying it goes beyond what you get when you get 100,000 people together?
Well, obviously, when you get more people in a concentrated jurisdiction, you're going to have certain types of problems. But I think we're apples and oranges here. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about what can be linked directly to the advent of gambling facilities, particularly with these slot machines, and what is linked directly to them, not intangibles here, but what is directly linked to the advent, the initiation of gambling facilities with concentrated gambling machines. And that's what this shows. The crime rate will go up. There is no doubt about this. This is definitive. And again, many of these professors don't take any honorarium or consultant fees for doing these, and these are pure academic studies. And we were fortunate enough to have Harvard give us permission to reprint it here as part of the United States International Gambling Report. We felt it was essential to have it as part of these huge volumes so that people could have this in their hands and have right there on your shelf where you can say, well, here's the report.
Given this evidence, why is it that state governments are so aggressively pursuing this? I mean, ultimately, aren't they the ones that will pay the price for this? If you're going to have expenditures of $3 for every $1 raise.
You know, we have the federal report. We have the United States International Gambling Report. Government officials are not naive, or if they haven't done their homework, that might say something. But there is no excuse these days with the federal report, the United States International Gambling Report, all these academic reports that are out. There is just no excuse for government officials to be pushing predatory gambling enterprises on their people to the detriment of the economy, social welfare, criminal justice costs, and this is just going to increase taxpayer costs across the board and hurt the economy. These are special interests coming in and utilizing their clout to have gambling facilities which only are ultimately going to benefit themselves.
What about the argument that we already have the problems, and we are already spending the money on the problems? That is, Ohioans who go to Indiana and Michigan, they come back addicts, they've blown the rent money. So we're already spending some of that 3-to-1 thing.
Well, let me, the National Commission addressed that, and there are two factors that are called the acceptability factor and the accessibility factor. Acceptability says if you legalize it and you put it in people's backyards, you're going to have people flowing in there and your problems are going to compound. And that's what the National Commission found. That's what we reiterated in the findings of the 2008-2009 United States International Gambling Report. They found that within 50 miles around these gambling facilities, another 1% of the public are going to become new addicted gamblers. And they compare it to drug addiction. So do you want another 1% of your public theoretical drug addicts, gambling addicts? I mean, think of the social costs. Well, I think we all understand the social costs of drug addiction, but the public is not as informed about the really serious problems of gambling addiction, because we haven't had widespread gambling addiction in this country for most of the 20th century.
Extra 1% of the public or extra 1% of the gamblers?
1% of the public within 50 miles, and that's why they want to locate in concentrated population areas. And another 2 to 3 to 4% will become problem gamblers. Mr. Miller gave correct statistics when he was indicating those. And there are some academics who give higher numbers, but I stay with the low numbers on this. It's so serious with the low numbers that I don't even go to the high numbers that some people are reporting. For example, in Nevada, they're reporting 8% addicted gamblers and another 8% problem gamblers. And that's out of the University of Nevada. Their own university in Nevada at Las Vegas is reporting that.
Again, 8% of the public.
Of the public, right.
8% of the gamblers.
Right. Now, that's a great distinction to make, and that's an important distinction to make. You want to look at the general public, and that's the place to look.
Any other questions for Mr.